Okay.
No, just kidding.
Thank you, Maya, for joining me today for
You're welcome.
supervision.
Absolutely.
So, part of our work is to reflect together on situations that have happened and have come up for you. So last time we met, you had shared with me that you had some concerns about the way a parent was sort of entering your classroom, winding the kids up.
Yeah.
So share a little bit about where you're at with that. Were you able to talk with her? What did that look like for you? And we'll do some reflection on what that was like for you, and then maybe what that was like for the child and for the mom as well.
So I was actually able to talk to Mom. I
Good.
feel like it was a really good conversation. We were outside and I just kind of, like, she was picking up her kid and I went over and I was like, hey, like, I've been actually meaning to talk to you about something. And she goes, oh boy, but she's like, she jokes anyway. And I was like, no, it's nothing bad. Like, I love that you come in the morning and the kids love you and they love, like, hanging out with you and saying hi, giving hugs. But after you leave, the room is very, like, elevated. And she's like, oh my goodness. She's like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, no, like, it's okay. Like, I just wanted you to be aware from what we see. Yeah. And I was like, is there something else that we can do? Like, can you come in and go over to where they are or, like, read a book with them or something? And she's like, no, absolutely, we can change that. She's like, I'm sorry, like, I didn't mean to do that. And I was like, no, like, it's okay. So
that's hard.
I feel like it was a good conversation.
So from your perspective, it went well?
Yeah, very well.
So tell me how you figured out what you wanted to say, and because you had shared you were a little nervous about how do I talk with her, and so we talked a little bit then. Did you use anybody else around you or get ideas? Like, how did that go for you?
So Maddie was there too, and she was actually outside for the conversation, and she kind of was like my backup in case
good.
I was like
reinforcement.
In case I'm like, oh no, I don't know what to say. But no, Maddie was there, and she was like telling me to sandwich it. Start off with what you wanted to say, turn it into something good, start off with something good, go with what you wanted to say, then something good again. So like how we could fix it. And that's how I said, or why I said to her, can we read a book or like high five or still give hugs?
Some ideas on what else we could do.
Yeah.
So what did it look like when she came in the room? Like, can you describe it to me?
So she got down on their level, oh baby, like all these kids loves all of them. They all run over to her, give her hugs, and like.
So like they're settled and then.
Up. As soon as she walks out the door, they run to the door.
She's like the party.
They leave
up.
Exactly. And she's like loud and she's like, good morning, my beautiful people. Like she has such good intention, but she was a lot, especially at 7:00 in the morning when all my kids were chill, and then they wouldn't chill after.
Did your team feel that way too, or so? What was that like for them? Do you think?
They just, because it was 14 was there too in the morning, so those
combined,
because it was those kids and some of our kids, and they noticed it as well. So like, even if it was after more people were here, they'd come over for like reinforcement of like kids running around the room.
Oh, was that bad?
It was that bad because she was so elevated.
She's like a ball of energy coming in, huh?
So much, and they would just run it. And
a ball of love.
all rules were not relevant while she was in that room. Which
is hard because you want the kids to be like.
You want them to appreciate, and they like appreciated her and love her, but it was a lot.
So how was it to see the value in that and have to address it for you?
It was tough because
we want families to feel like they can come in, but then
like I hope that she has come in some, but I hope that she still feels as though she can interact with the kids, like because I didn't want to shut her down completely, because it is such a big part of what she does in the morning. She has the few times she's come to drop off, she's been like in a rush, so she'll drop off and be like,
since you had a conversation,
she'll be like, bye, have a good day, because I have somewhere to go. But then I think somebody else was there the other morning, and she kind of came in and just was kind of more like calm, sitting on the floor, and like the kids came over, gave hugs, and walked away.
Nice. So have you noticed, like, what have you noticed in the kiddos?
They're more chill, and they know. Because I've also talked about it with the kids that are there. Hey, like we love when she comes in, but let's go give a hug and then go back to what we're doing. And they're getting it, and so they're all just kind of more chill, and she's more chill, and so it just makes it chill.
I wonder how you could make her a part of that and like make a routine that's appropriate for the children too. And if you guys talked about that as a team at all about
not really
inviting her in maybe or what?
I think she would love that. I think we could definitely talk about like.
I mean, I've seen her in the hallway, and she's like, she really enjoys the children.
She loves them.
And I know she's busy and works a lot, so I'm wondering if there's ways we could
get her in.
think about that? Would that be
Get her to
something
come in.
that you think your team's open to?
I think so. I think they'd be there because like she'd even come in and probably play with them at their centers or read books or
come at breakfast.
Yeah, come hang out with us for a while.
Ask her to come a few minutes early and see how it's like.
I think she'd love that, and I think that everybody would be like, yeah.
So your kids are more settled. So thinking about her child, he's used to her being pretty like so happy to see him and so like over the top that. I wonder what that's like for him to be like, wait, like it's different now?
You can tell in the morning that I think he still tries to get her to like.
Oh.
Rile
so what
up.
does that look like?
He like, cause if she gets down on the ground to like hug the kids, he's climbing on her back and flipping over the top of her.
That's my mom.
Right, exactly. That's basically. But he still tries to run around the room like while she's there. But she's even told him like, come sit down, like come hang out with me while I'm here, and then you can go find something to do.
So she's like backing up what you. So it sounds like she really heard you.
Yeah, she definitely did.
Right. Do you feel like you'll do a check-in, just to kind of see where she's at?
Maybe I should.
Right. When you walked away, think about this moment. When you walked away from that conversation, tell me your first feeling. Like your internal feeling.
I was like, I'm not nervous anymore. That was good. I don't know why I was nervous because she's not a parent who is like has big like feelings about that. Like she has big feelings about that, but she's not like a mean parent, even though that's not the word that I want.
Were you worried about her reaction prior to?
A little, but then at the same time, I'm like, I've never had a bad interaction with her, and it's always bubbly. And she loves talking about her and her kid and the other kids. So.
Sounds like she was really receptive.
I was just kind of like, phew, like.
So how did you share that with your team? Like, I know you said that the neighbor teacher heard you. Did you like let them know so that they would kind of like support that in the morning? Or?
Yeah, I went in because I think everybody was still here, and I went in and I was like, hey, just so you know, like this conversation just happened. I would like right, exactly. I'd like everyone to watch in the mornings on drop off. Like if you're here, tell me how it goes. Just I'd like to know that things are going good, and she did hear me, which she did, and but how she's changing it.
Is there anything you do different next time? Sounds like it was one of the first harder conversations or maybe you were nervous about with a parent.
Yeah.
I mean, you've had some conversations with other families, but this almost feels like
because it's more personal. It's a very personal thing.
Like it's who she is. She's vibrant. She's you. She's really excited.
Yeah.
So how do you be like, tone it down a little bit, please? And
because I can't even say that to me. Tone it down. No, I don't think I'd change it. Not with that parent because. She even was like, I love you, like, thank you so much. Like, and I'm like, I love you too. Like, I'm so glad.
She still feels welcome.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
So like, good morning. Like,
yeah, I'm happy to see her.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering what it was like from her perspective. Because I think about the other two teachers in your classroom and how they're more introverted and quiet. And I'm like, I wonder if part of your like bubbly nature is like, you know, how you match affect with people. Right. I don't know, like.
I wonder if that helped the conversation because I'm bubbly like her. I don't know.
So you feel like you're a little
prepared
to be awkward in moments when you're uncomfortable.
I mean, it gave me more confidence to know that I can have those conversations.
And trust that you can move forward.
Trust that I can do it and trust that everybody has my back as well.
So I wonder what it looked like if, like, just hypothetically, if she would have been like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, did you think about that ahead of time?
Nope. Didn't even cross my mind. Not at all. That she would be like, what? But I don't know. I feel like it could have gone very differently if she would have been like, what do you mean I don't do that? Then I would have been like, oh, I was not prepared for that.
Well, did you feel like, I'm not sure, like I've been a teacher too, so did you feel like saying something to her? Because for me, like parents can be excited.
Yeah. The
group you have is like a little, nice little pack of wolves. So one does something, right?
Exactly.
One does something, the rest do it, and they're fun, but not all can regulate. So, it's kind of risky to say to a parent like, "Hey, can you kind of not be who you are right now?"
Right.
And then, do you feel like you could explain to her without being like, "Oh, the kids are really hard." Like it's hard. It's hard to say this is what it looks like after you leave, without being able to actually say, well, we have like 6 kids that literally will go gangbusters in about 3 seconds.
I also think that she has seen the room when all of the kids are going gangbusters, so I was
related.
I was like, hey, listen, the room starts off low energy, and when you leave, it's up here. And she's just like, oh, like she knows.
Her impact.
Plus, she knows her own kid and knows that her own kid has a lot to do with that.
So
So she's like,
as he's climbing on her back.
exactly, as he's doing flips over her and hanging on to her. So.
Oh, good. Well, it sounds like you problem solved it well. You shared it with your team.
Yep.
So it sounds like Maddie was helpful.
Maddie was very helpful.
So tell me what that conversation looked like with her. Did you go to her and say, hey, how do I word this? I know you had shared you were talking at like our closure day, right? Is that
we
the
we
same
were
one?
all sitting. Yep, we were all
Okay.
like sitting in a circle talking, and I'm like, hey, like I have to have this conversation with a parent.
Nice.
Have any of you had this conversation? And Maddie was like, oh yes. And she was, so then she was telling me the story of her parent, and then she's like, I'll be there. She's like, cause she knew what I wanted to
She
do it
offered you
anyway.
help? Oh,
yep. She's
good.
like, I can be there. She's like, and the biggest thing I remember is that she told me to sandwich it, and she's like, do some positives, get that negative in
Oh,
there.
because it is positive, right?
Keep it light. And she's like, and if you need anything, like let one of us know. So she was very like, you can do this.
It's literally like rolling the dice and hoping that's great.
Hoping for the best. But she was very much like, I know that you can
It's
do
like
this.
trial and error all the time.
Exactly, especially because everybody knows this mom too.
Yeah.
She's like, honestly, you're gonna be fine. Because
Sounds like her support was important for you to be able to like, yeah, we've got this.
no,
and
it definitely helped. And then
nice.
her sitting outside there, she was kind of like there, but like not there. Like you could tell she was listening, but
Well, and so I think it says a lot about who you are that you're okay with someone listening to you, because other people, or even like I know for me, I'd be like
personal conversation.
get gone. Well, no, because like what if I make a mistake and then I'm in front of a colleague, right? Like,
It's like, oh
so
no.
it's probably just like depends on who you are.
Because then even after the conversation, I went to Maddie and I was like, how do you think that went? She goes, honestly, really well. Like, you did
Could you
good.
reflected with her too right after?
And she thought it went really well. And
Good.
and I was like, anything more I could have said? And she's like, nope. She's like, you said everything that was what you've been telling us. So.
Good. And this was like recently.
So it was a week or two ago.
So you haven't checked in with mom. So
I personally haven't seen mom.
right, but when you do,
Yep.
like I wonder what you could say to sort of like say how you said to Maddie, like, how do you think that went?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think you could like re-engage with mom on, just to get her perspective? Because I also think it is personal.
Yeah.
And so she might be okay with the moment, but I also want her to feel welcome.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, do you think you should do a check-in or just like a reconnect, not a check-in like you're worried about anything, but I'm not sure, what would that look like, do you think?
With her, it's definitely like a, how are you? Like, start the conversation. How's it been?
Yeah, you
like, how you
connect well
been
with her.
doing? Yeah, we always have fun conversation. She told me about how they got kicked out of somewhere one time. And I'm like, okay. But, like, we, like, have this, like, kind of like a banter almost, too.
Nice,
Like, it's
yeah.
fun back and forth conversation. And then she's always like, goodbye, Miss Maya. Have a great day.
Well, you did break from banter to like being serious.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
So
I think she was able to do.
well, you did it,
Yeah,
which
and I
yes,
did
I mean the parent
We
can
both-
respond.
yeah.
Yeah, that's like huge.
Because we always like, well, she picks on me a little bit, and I pick on her back.
Yeah, she
and
likes to razz you a little.
pick
yeah.
on her kid, and
Aw.
I don't know, but maybe just like starting the conversation with her, and then
Yeah.
kind of being like, hey, like, how do you feel mornings are going? Like, I know I
Right.
haven't seen you in a while,
Yeah.
but do the kids still come?
Remember that
Right,
conversation we
right.
had? Right. And I think it's also okay to be a little vulnerable and say, you know, that was like my first hard conversation with a
Yeah.
parent. Like, thanks for being open, but I also want you to know you're welcome here. So, you know, maybe we have some different times you could come in. So I don't know. Like, do you
Depending,
think
I
she'd
could
be okay with
ask
that?
like the rest of my team and be
Huh.
like, and put that in that same conversation, so it doesn't seem like.
Yeah, they both. She and the child both have like great sense of
Oh,
humor,
absolutely.
which is why you can be jovial.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Because I could ask them and be like, hey, like, do we have a time that we could offer for her to come in? And then add that into the check-in conversation. Be like, hey, would you ever want to come in depending on how your schedule is?
Yeah.
And
Or is there a day
hang out
during the
with
week
us,
that you that want to come join us for, you know, what? I mean, we have lots of
outside time.
And we always have open door because she's works so many hours a week. That's hard for her, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
or even just if she pops in and it's breakfast,
Right.
you can sit and have
You wanna
breakfast
hang out with
and
them?
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to come? Oh, you could invite her during music and movement or gross motor time.
All of the above. Yes. Do you want to go to the gross motor room with us? Be a fun
So
time.
do you feel like it's like helped you grow a little bit,
Definitely.
like professionally?
Because now I feel like I can say anything to anybody, like within like conversation
Right.
reason, like
Ugh.
any type of conversation.
Yeah, and I know you have some other parents in there that maybe aren't as receptive
Mm-hmm.
to. I know,
Uh-huh.
right? So, I mean, this was a great example. So, but you can take that kind of confidence and be like, all right, how do I apply this to the next situation where maybe I'm a little bit more nervous that they're unhappy because they might have already complained or.
There was a parent the other day that is her new parent and kind of haven't made that connection with us yet, and I like
Mm.
started a conversation with her, and it was just kind of like, she was like, oh, I didn't realize that, like, and now she's talking to me every day at pickup,
Oh.
and like before she hadn't been talking to us, but now, like, because I told her
Is this
something
your
about her
recent
kid.
one? She's the one that asked for background
Not
checks?
that one.
Okay.
Different one.
Got you. I know.
And she was like I was telling her like a good thing about her kid's day, and then also, hey, we've been noticing this. Have you noticed this at home?
Yeah.
And she like was so apologetic, and I'm like, no, like
Right.
I don't want you to apologize. I just want to check in on how you are at home and like make sure you're good.
Yeah.
So-
To make sure that we're saying the same language to their
Right.
child.
Exactly. So
Nice.
that opened it to like, because this parent was not open to conversation, or she
Mm.
didn't seem to be.
Yeah.
So then I started having one, and now we're continuously having it.
Yeah, it's hard having a conversation with someone
Yeah.
who automatically has a wall up, but we know that we don't know what's really happening sometimes.
Exactly.
So that's why I reflect on it and learn from it. So
Right.
Great. Well, I'm glad it came full circle for
Me
you.
too.
So do the check-in,
Yes.
and next time we meet, I'll see how that went.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. High five.
Okay, high five.
High five. And cut.